Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are diving into spiral dynamics.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of spiral dynamics?
I have. Yeah, it's a fascinating model.
Yeah, it's this model of how, like, human values and cultures evolve over time.
Yeah.
And we've got a stack of research and theories to unpack, so
Oh, yeah.
buckle up.
It's going to be a wild ride. This is fun. It really is kind of like, if you think about it, charting the growth stages, like childhood to adulthood,
Yeah.
where each stage, you get new perspectives, new priorities as you go.
Totally. And it's not like one is better than the other. They're just different.
Right.
They're just
Yeah.
different. Okay, so let's start with the basics. What exactly is spiral dynamics?
So spiral dynamics, does it explain why my grandparents and I can't agree on what to have for dinner,
Well, it might offer some clues.
let alone anything else?
It uses this thing called memes.
Oh, memes. Okay.
Not those funny internet memes.
But they're think of them as cultural building block for how we think and behave,
Oh, okay.
like software for our social DNA.
Oh, instead of Grumpy Cat, we've got Grumpy Grandpa as the meme.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm kidding, kind of. But seriously,
Yeah.
walk me through these stages. Where does it all begin?
So we start with beige,
Beige. Okay.
the survival stage.
Okay.
So picture our earliest ancestors, just trying to make it through the night. Food, water, safety.
Yeah.
Those are the priorities.
Yeah.
Not, existential debates and...
Right. You got to figure out how to survive before you can worry about anything else.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you know what? While it seems like a world away, you can actually still see shades of beige today
Oh, interesting.
in how we react, under extreme stress.
Yeah.
Remember that time you swerved to avoid a car accident and, didn't even have time to think?
Totally.
That's pure beige instinct kicking in.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've moved beyond basic survival.
Yeah.
What's next on our evolutionary road trip?
Okay, so now we're hitting the scenic road here
Okay.
with purple,
Purple.
the stage of magical thinking and tribalism.
Okay.
So imagine a world of spirits and rituals.
So this is where things get a little mystical.
Exactly.
Okay.
Strong family bonds, think ancient tribes, right?
Yeah.
Seeking safety and meaning in a world full of unknown forces.
Yeah.
And get this, we still see echoes of purple today
Oh, really?
in rituals and traditions.
Interesting.
Think about those good luck charms people keep,
Right.
or even just, knocking on wood.
Yeah.
That's a little purple coming through.
I never even thought about it like that. But it makes total sense. Okay, so from the mystical to, what's next?
All right, hold on tight.
Okay.
Because things are about to get a little more intense, shall we say,
Ooh, okay.
with red,
Red.
the stage of power and self-assertion.
Okay.
This is where we meet the powerful, the impulsive, the egocentric, driven by respect and immediate gratification.
Ooh. Red sounds a lot like the rebellious teenager of the spiral.
You nailed it. Think of those captivating stories of warriors and conquerors.
Yeah.
Pushing boundaries,
Yeah.
challenging the status quo. That's red in action.
Yeah.
It's a stage of raw energy
Okay.
and a thirst for power.
So we've gone from basic survival to this tribalism and now to this surge of individualism.
Right.
What comes after all that red energy?
Well, all that chaos can't last forever.
Right.
Eventually things, settle down a bit and we move into blue.
Blue.
The stage of order and purpose.
Okay.
Think absolute truths, strict rules, a sense of belonging to something bigger than yourself.
So this is where things start to sound a bit more familiar,
Yeah.
like the world we live in today,
Exactly.
with laws and social structures.
There you go.
It's all about bringing some order to the chaos,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. Imagine organized religion, strong institutions, clear hierarchies.
Yeah.
All of these provide stability, meaning,
Right.
think of it like this. If red is the rebellious teenager,
Yeah.
blue is the stage where you realize rules exist for a reason. Sometimes.
Okay, that makes sense. I can definitely see how those blue structures would be appealing after all that red energy.
Right.
But I'm guessing things don't just end with following the rules, do they?
You're right. The spiral keeps spinning.
Okay.
So next up is orange.
Orange.
where we see this shift towards achievement, ambition, pushing boundaries.
Okay.
This is where the individual takes center stage again,
Okay.
but with a different focus.
So this is where things start to sound really familiar.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
We're talking about the rise of the individual, the entrepreneur, the scientist, the go-getter. It's all about progress and shaping your own destiny.
You got it. Orange is driven by this desire for success and this belief in their ability to make things happen. Think of the spirit of innovation and exploration.
Yeah.
That's orange in a nutshell. It's that, like, Elon Musk stage.
Right. Orange is definitely a shaker and a mover.
Yeah.
But, and maybe this is just me, but sometimes I feel like too much focus on, like, individual achievement
Yeah.
can be a little, like, isolating.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, we're all just little islands striving for our own success.
You're tapping into a key point here. That's where green comes in.
Okay.
Bringing a much-needed dose of empathy and connection to the table.
Okay.
Think community, harmony, social justice.
So green is like the counterbalance to orange's intense focus on individual achievement.
Absolutely. Green recognizes that we're all connected.
Yeah.
And strives for a more just and compassionate world.
Okay.
Think about, like, activists, environmentalists, social workers.
Yeah.
They're often very motivated by a strong sense of green.
Okay, I'm starting to see the flow here. So we've moved from basic survival instincts through tribalism and this power struggle, then on to order and individual achievement.
Right.
And now with green, we're all about collaboration and social good.
Exactly. But here's where spiral dynamics gets really wild.
Okay.
It suggests that there's a whole other level beyond green,
What?
a kind of graduation to what's called the second tier of consciousness.
Ooh, second tier. Now you've got me really intrigued. It's like leveling up in a video game.
It really is.
What does the second tier look like?
Imagine going from a black and white view of the world to suddenly seeing everything in full color.
Whoa.
Right. And it's not that the first tier stages are bad,
Yeah.
but the second tier just brings a whole new level of understanding. It's like,
Right.
you've gained, like, wisdom, not just knowledge at that point.
Okay, color me intrigued. Tell me more about this second tier wisdom.
All right, so it starts with yellow.
Yellow. Okay.
Imagine seeing the whole spiral
Okay.
from beige to green and beyond.
Yeah.
And recognizing the value of each stage and how they all interact.
So instead of just focusing on one stage or one way of seeing things, yellow can kind of like hold multiple perspectives at once.
Precisely. Yellow is very comfortable with complexity,
Yep.
with paradox even.
Huh.
It's less about imposing one right way and more about finding solutions that work for the greater good,
Okay.
even if they seem counterintuitive at first.
Wow, yellow sounds like a seriously advanced way of thinking.
Yeah.
It's almost like seeing the world from like a bird's eye view
Yeah,
and understanding all the different perspectives at play.
that's a great way to put it. And if yellow is about seeing the whole system,
Yeah.
the next stage, turquoise,
Okay.
zooms out even further.
Okay, and turquoise.
Yeah.
This is like the final level,
Yeah.
the ultimate boss of consciousness.
Think of it more like the vast, unexplored territory at the edge of the map, you know? We're still learning about turquoise,
Okay.
but imagine a global consciousness,
Okay.
a deep understanding of interconnectedness on a planetary scale.
Okay, that does sound pretty transcendent.
Yeah.
But if turquoise is about this like interconnectedness on a global scale, how does that actually play out in the real world?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
It's about recognizing that we're not just individuals or even just members of a particular community or nation,
Yeah.
right? We're all part of one interconnected planetary system.
So if yellow is like being the conductor of an orchestra,
Yes.
making sure all the different instruments are playing in harmony,
Yes.
turquoise is like experiencing the music as a unified whole.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's about recognizing the interconnectedness of everything.
Yeah.
The environment, different cultures, different systems of knowledge.
Yeah.
Turquoise seeks to understand how everything fits together.
Wow, this is blowing my mind.
Right.
So just to recap, we've journeyed through this first tier of the spiral, from the survival instincts of beige to the power struggles of red, all the way to the collaborative spirit of green. And then we shifted gears into the second tier, starting with the systemic thinking of yellow and ending with the global consciousness of turquoise.
That's a great summary.
Yeah.
And remember, it's not that one stage is better than another.
Yeah.
They each serve a purpose in the evolution of human consciousness, just like you wouldn't say adulthood is better than childhood.
Right.
They're simply different stages with different challenges and opportunities.
Right. Each stage plays a crucial role in the grand scheme of things. But what's the real difference between those like first tier stages and the ones in the second tier? Sounds like a pretty major shift.
It is. It's like moving from local to global thinking.
Okay.
From me-centered to we-centered.
Yeah.
The first tier, from beige to green, is
Right.
primarily concerned with survival, belonging, and navigating the, immediate challenges of the external world.
Right.
But the second tier marks this kind of like shift in perspective.
Okay.
It's about understanding the interconnectedness of all things and seeing the spiral as a whole, appreciating the value of each stage.
Okay.
Think of it as moving from a more egocentric worldview
Right.
to a more holistic and integrated understanding of reality.
So it's almost like the second tier represents this higher level of awareness,
Right.
not just reacting to the world, but like understanding it from a much broader perspective.
Yes, exactly.
Like graduating from playing checkers to playing some like multi-dimensional game of chess.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we are part of something much larger than ourselves,
Right.
and that our actions have ripple effects that extend far beyond our immediate sphere of influence.
So if the second tier is all about expanding our circle of awareness and understanding, where does that leave us? What does it mean for us as like individuals trying to make sense of the world and our place in it?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Now that we understand the different stages of the spiral,
Yeah.
the next question is, where do we go from here?
This has been such an eye-opening conversation. It's really got me thinking, like, where do I fit into all of this? Is there like a spiral dynamics quiz I can take online?
Well, I mean, yeah, there are assessments out there, but,
Right.
the real value isn't about just like labeling yourself. It's more about just, think of it as a lens, right?
Yeah.
For understanding your own values, your motivations, your behaviors.
So instead of trying to figure out if I'm a yellow or a green, it's more about understanding how those different like memes are showing up in my life and how I interact with the world.
Exactly. And, think about those times you felt frustrated or stuck. Could it be that maybe you're like, your current meme wasn't quite a fit for the situation?
Oh, interesting.
Or on the flip side, those times where you just like effortlessly connected with someone, maybe you were vibing on a similar level of the spiral.
Oh, okay. I like that. So it's less about putting ourselves in a box and more about using this framework to kind of understand ourselves and others better.
Precisely. And remember, spiral dynamics isn't about like, judging people who are at different stages.
Right.
We all have our own unique journeys,
Right.
shaped by our experiences and the cultures we're embedded in.
Yeah. And like expecting everyone to be at the same stage of development is like expecting everyone to wear the same size shoe.
Yeah.
It's just not realistic.
Exactly. And just like we wouldn't like, shame someone for having smaller feet, we shouldn't judge someone for being at a different stage of the spiral. We're all just trying to find our footing in the world, right?
This has been such an incredible deep dive. But if you had to leave our listeners with one, provocative thought about spiral dynamics to kind of like ponder on their own, what would it be?
You've heard of paying it forward, right? Think about growing it forward.
Ooh, growing it forward. Okay.
As you become more aware of your own place on the spiral, how can you support others in their own growth? How can we create the conditions for all of us to thrive?
That's such a powerful question. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey through spiral dynamics. And listeners, until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and remember, the spiral keeps evolving.